All right, it's another Craftsman Ratchet maintenance video. Today we got a 1/2-inch drive, VP-44809. Pretty similar process, but I thought I'd just give you a tutorial in case you have this specific ratchet and you're looking for how to fix it. So the first thing we'll do is get the snap ring off from here, as you can see right there. Actually, before I get too far down the road, I should let you hear what this sounds like. It just sounds awful. I mean, granted, look how, very loud. So that's what I'll be fixing today. And as you can see, this thing is honestly pretty dry. There's like nothing in there, so I'm sure this. So there's just a couple parts to this. So we have a cover plate here, the spring, the ball, the lever mechanism, the pawl, the gears, and of course the spring. So first step is to clean all the parts. And then once we get them all cleaned, and you can also use a degreaser, we'll reassemble with grease. And I also like to take a pick and go through the valleys here just to really clean up, get all the crud out. As you can see, I mean, there's still stuff in there. And I prefer to clean all the parts first, just so when you go to reassembly, it's faster in case you're in the zone. And don't overlook the pawl. I mean, this and the gear are pretty, well, all the pieces are important, but I really want to clean out here. Look at all that gunk. Don't forget the inside of the ratchet, the body of the ratchet. Granted, in this, there's not really much to even clean because there was nothing really put in here before, but I also like to take a pick and, okay, I mean, look at that. And just like oil provides lubrication to an engine, help it last longer, and same applies to putting grease in your ratchet. I mean, this will help this tool last so much longer by helping extend its life and its gears. You can always buy replacement kits, but I mean, for a couple of bucks and grease that will last you multiple ratchets, I think it's well worth it to do this. So now that we have this clean, for the most part, you can go into as much detail as you'd like with this. Let's reassemble this. First thing, we'll start with the spring. So you might want to clean your hands if they're crusty and whatnot. Wasn't too bad on this one. So I'm gonna put some grease here on this spring, and then I'll insert it here. So as you can see, it's like that. And now the next part is the hardest part, but I'll show you a trick to do it without any fancy tools. All right, so what we need to do next is put the lever through the back, and I try to orient it straight. So to give you an idea, I try and have it like this. So parallel to the stem of the ratchet there. Not a big deal, but the reason that this matters is what I'm gonna do next is you need to put the ball on the spring, compress the spring, and then slide the pawl here onto the shaft. at the same time. So it's a little annoying. It might take a couple tries, but what I do is I put the ball on the spring, compress the spring with a little screwdriver, in this case a pick, and then I'll put the pawl on. And one thing I also forgot to do before I get carried away is to also grease the inside of the ratchet. That is majorly important, and I didn't want to forget that, so I'm going to quickly do that here. And also throw some down there. All right, good. And now I'll also throw a little bit of grease on the ball here so that it doesn't go flying away. These things love to do that. And I'll just gently get it onto the spring. And then I'll also put a little bit of grease here on the pawl. You can always put more on, but just in case there's any hard areas. And then once I get it on, here's the hard part. So one hand to press the spring and the ball, the other one try and slide the pawl on. And wow, that actually went a lot easier than I expected. So now that we have that in there, next thing to do is grease the gears here. And I'm also gonna throw a little bit more onto the top of the pawl here. And then we'll just get that in. All right. Now the next thing I like to do is put some grease on the front here. Put some grease around the box end of the ratchet here. You can also throw a little bit here on the cover plate. Throw that on the cover plate. Throw the cover plate onto the body. And then for our last step here, compress our snap ring with our snap ring pliers. And just like that, in just a couple minutes, we got this thing all greased up. Now I'll clean this up. And now, let's give it a test. All right, so engage it. And you can't even hear that. And I'll just have it go through the gears multiple times just to really displace that grease. And other than that, it's just that simple, and that ratchet is gonna last that much longer now that you've done that quick maintenance. Hope the video was helpful. If it was, please give it a like, and also consider subscribing. And if you have any helpful tips or comments, please feel free to share them below. Appreciate you watching. I'll link some cards in the top right corner that might be relevant to you. You might want to check out. Other than that, thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one.